Derrick Henry is signing a 2-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. So we liked this spot when we talked about it initially this offseason just a few weeks ago, but now it's come to fruition here, and we've got Derrick Henry going to Baltimore. Initial thoughts, Nate, for Derrick Henry on the Ravens offense?
I'm excited for it, probably more so for the offense in general. Just having that good of a running back in that offense just feels like it makes a ton of sense compared to the committee that they've had in the past and the struggles they've had with running back staying healthy. I think this should be pretty good for Henry. There's always the concern that Lamar Jackson is the quarterback. He's going to run a lot. He's going to get some of the touchdowns in there. But I think this should help, especially when you consider with the Titans, when Henry was at his best, they had one of the better offensive lines, and slowly over the years, they started losing some of those pieces. The offensive line stopped being as good, and that hurt his production in general. Tennessee last year was back to being an average or so run blocking offensive line, but the Ravens continue to be one of the better run blocking offensive lines. So I think that can be huge for Henry's production. So don't know exactly how high I'll draft him, but I think this is a good move for him and probably one of the best landing spots that he could have landed with.
Yeah, definitely feels like one of the best landing spots. You know, another guy, he's going to be 30 years old at the start of this season. So on the older side here, and he's got a ton of wear and tear on him as well, right? He's had to carry the ball at least 200 times in 6 straight seasons now. Ravens haven't really had somebody that's had to do that since basically Mark Ingram, although Gus Edwards came pretty close to that last year. So it's not like they're going to, go away from it because that's what they've done in the past. They've got Derrick Henry on the roster now. We know that Keaton Mitchell isn't likely to start the season. He's going to be dealing with that knee injury. So Kate, how are you feeling about Derrick Henry now that it is official? Well, I guess it's official once the free agency period officially opens, but it seems like Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens is official here.
I'm all in, and I actually think I'm probably just going to be drafting him as an RB1. I know the age, the touch totals, it doesn't matter for me. Like, I think schematically, this is such a good fit. He's really shown no signs of wear and tear. And John, you mentioned Gus Edwards, who signed with the Los Angeles Chargers. Gus Edwards has been a pretty foundational player for the Ravens, which I'm going to be honest, I just never thought we would see a day where he walked out of that building, because I thought this team they seem to really, really like Gus Edwards a lot. He's had 4 out of 5 seasons with 139 plus touches. He's been a guy that, while he's never taken over the backfield necessarily, he's had a substantial role in the offense. And I think, that availability of touches, question marks with Keaton Mitchell. I don't think a full workload for Derrick Henry is at all out of the question, barring any concerns about health. And to this point, I haven't seen any of those concerns for decline on those high volume opportunities.
Yeah. And like you said, even with Gus Edwards too, like what we loved about Gus Edwards last season was the touchdown upside as well, right? When the Ravens got down around the goal line, they were giving him the ball. He had 13 rushing touchdowns last season. I got to imagine Derrick Henry's going to be put in a similar situation here. And there's no reason that King Henry can't be as effective around the goal line as a Gus Edwards. So it's a pretty exciting landing spot, I think, for the Baltimore Ravens and for Derrick Henry managers. If you've held on to him in Dynasty for some reason at this point, in his career, you got to feel pretty good about this going from Tennessee to Baltimore.
I do think one small thing that could hurt his upside is the Ravens. I'd expect them to be a top 5 team in the NFL again this upcoming year. And the Ravens have pretty consistently over the years, when they've had leads, they lean more towards their younger running backs, and when they're playing from behind, lean more on their veteran running backs. So I could see this being a scenario where Henry, at his age, they want to rest him a lot in the fourth quarters when they have leads. He might not be getting those garbage time carries in order to preserve him for later in the season. So I could see him not having the same volume he had in Tennessee, but having more efficiency to make up for that.